girl developed a grave fear. Someone or something got under her skin and convinced her that they were going to die, and died very soon. Despite her parents' best efforts to convince her otherwise, she was way too stubborn and sure that they were going to die. This fear, as days went by, turned into a phobia that manifested itself as a paranoia. Every day she would wake up, think about death, and go to sleep thinking about death. You know what it really took for this little girl to snap back to her senses and to wake up to the reality of the world, literally? It was merely the dawn of January 1, 2000, the birth of the millennium, that proved to her that she could never, ever again in her life trust the avaricious, the greedy, the hungry, the devious journalists over there. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, good evening.
Good evening.
Well, I would like you all to take a stroll down the memory lane and go back 16 years, 2000. The end of the day, so much of chaos about it, if you all remember. The world was going to end in 2000, and I think if there is something which is worse than death itself, it should probably be living a life filled with that terror of death for every single second. And those people successfully managed to give it to an 8-year-old kid back then. You know, this thing happened to get postponed by some time, and it was supposed to happen in 2012 as well. December 21, 2012, supposedly the world was supposed to end. But again, it's postponed to a much future date. But when this information about the world's end at 2012 struck the news, I was damn sure. Here comes another sham. Well, that is one another crazy memory from my childhood, of course. But I'm sure that you all can relate to the incident as well, because every morning I think when we wake up with that cup of coffee on one hand, we have this bunch of papers on the other that reeks of nothing but sensationalism. My speech can add a little bit of sensation to it, but journalists are supposed to report stories, not write stories. I understand that journalism and sensationalism go hand in hand, and journalism would almost intrigue no one until it has that wee bit of sensation to its news. But I'm sure you'll agree more when I say today's journalism has got a wee bit of news and a whole lot of nothing but sensation. Let's consider a case. A dog bites a man. Why did that man go near the dog? Dogs are meant to bite. But let's consider another case. A man bites a dog. Aren't you piqued by interest? Well, that is a completely different phenomenon here in journalism. Whenever you hear something like chain smoker kicks 30-year habit, chokes to death on board of nicotine gum, or something like severed leg hops to the hospital, or half dog, half man baffles doctors, or brace yourselves when you hear this Abraham Lincoln is a woman. Have you heard of it? All this is nothing but captions and headlines handpicked from tabloids and newspapers from across the globe, and all of this just emphasizes this concept of man bites dog, how much we're drawn towards it. So we cannot completely blame them now. But the irony is, we happen to read about such rare events like like a man biting a dog on a very day-to-day basis. Let's talk about something that really happens on a rarer case, like a disease or a disaster. For this, let's rewind your memories by a few years. In India, there was this sensational news coverage on the outbreak of Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Back then, it still is a terrifying disease, but back then, let me tell you, the odds of people living in India contracting this virus and even worse, getting killed by it, is just the same as you and me getting turned into vampires. Practically zero. But when you look into the amount of media sensation this issue had, you can more than conveniently assume that the world was going to end. It was World War Z in India. Half the people were dead, half the people were zombies. There's no Brad Pitt to save us from the issue. Well, there's an adage in journalism that says, if it bleeds, it leads, just signifying how death and violence often got the most prominent coverage in news. How does scaring people more in an already scary situation really help? What's happened to risk mitigation in making people feel secure? Well, when people say a nation could be brought to its knees, convicted or conquered by powerful journalism, they say that because journalism has shaped the course of history in ways unimaginable. When we talk about journalism, you can really see the power of journalism because, if my memory serves right, there are journalists who changed the world with their word. Someone who really chose their pens instead of their swords. This power can be witnessed by the way it ended wars, by the way it brought down as powerful a person as Richard Nixon, the American president, by the way it instigated every single Indian and agitated that spirit of patriotism during the independence struggle. That was journalism, and those were journalists. What history do you expect from this bunch of people who make a living out of this sensation this blood and gore brings? You can definitely not expect a historical change. You can definitely expect a change in history because today's journalism is a collection of everything but news. I used to wonder and I used to ask myself, why are journalists so irresponsible? Why has journalism become so third-rated? Is it because they're all sold for the money? Is money so important, or is rating so important? Are they more interested in promoting their papers or their news channels rather than their stories? No pun intended. But there's a third cause that I did not really notice until recently. In the journalist's world, they say, you don't really read about a plane that is not crashed. So let's pause for a while and ask ourselves, is it our fault as the audience that we expect so less from them that they keep giving us this continuous, uninterrupted supply of nothing but junk? Is our thirst to read about that man who bites the dog so high that we're causing those journalists to fake history rather than to make history? While you keep pondering upon that, I will close my screen.